How to buy a $65,000 truck for under $20,000. That sentence should not be impossible. A brand new Ford F-150 Lariat with a tow package and crew cab sits at a dealership right now with a sticker price between $58,000 and $67,000. The average American is financing that truck at 7.3% interest, making a monthly payment of $740 for 72 months, and praying nothing goes wrong before the loan clears. Meanwhile, somewhere within 20 miles of where you are sitting right now, that same truck, same year, same trim level, sometimes lower mileage than the dealership model, is sitting on a repo lot waiting for a buyer who knows where to look. It will not be advertised on television. Your dealership will not mention it. Your bank probably will not bring it up either, even though your bank likely owns the truck right now and is desperate to get it off their books. In 2024 alone, 1.73 million vehicles were repossessed across the United States. Pickup trucks represent the single most repossessed vehicle category in the country. The lots are full, the banks are motivated, and the gap between what the dealer charges and what you can pay at the right auction is not 10%. It is not 20%. On the right vehicle, on the right day, that gap is 60% to 70% below retail. This is how the repo lot gold mine works, and why nobody in the automotive industry has any interest in telling you about it. The average new vehicle payment in America crossed $740 per month in 2024. Let that settle in for a moment. That is not a mortgage. That is not a college tuition bill. That is a monthly car payment for a truck. Tens of millions of Americans signed up for that payment at the exact wrong time, when vehicle prices were at their all-time peak following the pandemic supply shortage, and when interest rates were climbing to their highest levels in over a decade. The math was brutal from the start. A $65,000 truck financed at 11.5% on a 72-month term carries a monthly payment of over $1,200. That is before insurance, before fuel, before maintenance, before anything else in the household budget. A significant portion of American families stretched that far because they believed they had no other option. The dealer was there. The financing was available. The truck was right in front of them. Nobody mentioned there was another way. Some buyers had every intention of making it work. Some of them did. But millions hit a wall. Inflation ate their margins. Interest rates on everything else rose simultaneously. A missed payment became two. Two became 90 days past due. And somewhere around the 90-day mark, a repo company received a call and dispatched a flatbed. That truck disappeared from someone's driveway in the middle of the night. Then it reappeared somewhere you have almost certainly never thought to look. The auto industry does not want you thinking about this channel of vehicles. Dealerships make their money selling you new inventory at full margin or certified pre-owned at markup. They are not incentivized to explain that the bank next door has a fleet of clean trucks available at a fraction of the price, with full titles and no dealer commission. Their service departments depend on your monthly payment obligation, keeping you loyal. Their finance offices depend on you not having done this research before you walked through the door, so they simply do not mention it. Most Americans walk into a dealership, take the payment, and carry the debt for 6 years without ever knowing the alternative existed. In 2024, approximately 1.73 million vehicles were repossessed by banks, credit unions, and finance companies across the United States. That figure represents a 16% increase from 2023 and a 43% increase from 2022. Analysts tracking the auto loan market in early 2025 projected the full year 2025 total would exceed 3 million repossessions, a figure not seen since the depths of the 2008 financial crisis. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau confirmed that more vehicles were eligible for repossession entering 2025 than at any point in the post-pandemic era. Let that scale hit you. 3 million vehicles stripped from driveways, removed from garages, towed from parking lots in the middle of the night, and handed back to lenders who have zero interest in owning them. Banks are not car dealers. They are not equipped to maintain vehicle inventory. They are not staffed to detail, inspect, and retail individual trucks. Every day a repossessed vehicle sits in their possession is a day it costs them money in storage, insurance, and administrative overhead. Their goal is simple: get the vehicle liquidated as fast as possible, recover whatever portion of the outstanding loan balance they can, and close the file. That urgency is what creates the opportunity. The average outstanding loan balance on a repossessed vehicle at the time of repossession is between 60% and 80% of the vehicle's current market value. A truck worth $35,000 on the retail market might have a loan balance of $28,000 still owed. The bank does not need to sell it for $35,000. They need to recover enough to close the debt and move on. If the market delivers $22,000 at auction, they take it. If it delivers $18,000 and the auction fee is covered, they take that too. That math, multiplied across millions of vehicles, is why repo auctions consistently price 30% to 60% below what the same vehicle sells for at a franchise dealership down the street. This is not about luck. This is about motivated sellers with legal obligations to liquidate. And right now, there has never been more supply on these lots in 15 years. Here is where most people get stuck, because the repo pipeline is not one single system. It is a layered process that moves vehicles through several hands before they reach a buyer. And understanding each stage tells you exactly where to insert yourself to pay the least. When a vehicle is repossessed, the lender typically contracts with a licensed recovery company to physically take possession. The recovery company tows the vehicle to a holding lot, often called a redemption lot, where the original borrower has a legal window of time to reclaim it by paying off the outstanding debt and fees. That window varies by state, but typically runs between 10 and 30 days. If the borrower does not redeem the vehicle within that window, the lender takes full ownership and begins the liquidation process. From this point, vehicles typically flow through one of three channels. The first channel is the wholesale auction network. Companies like Manheim and Adisa run the largest wholesale vehicle auction networks in North America. Manheim alone operates more than 100 physical auction locations and processes hundreds of thousands of vehicles per month. However, these auctions are dealer-only. You need a valid dealer license to participate, and if you walk up without one, you are turned away at the door. The second channel is the bank or credit union direct sale. Some lenders skip the auction entirely and list repos directly on their websites, their partner platforms, or through classified services where any member of the public can purchase directly. No dealer license and no auction premium. Just a vehicle, a price, and a title waiting to be transferred. The third channel is the public auction, which is where the real opportunity opens up for regular buyers without dealer credentials. But here is what most people do not know. Not all public auctions are created equal, and the difference between the right auction and the wrong one can mean thousands of dollars on the same truck. There are 4 places where regular buyers, no dealer license, no industry credentials, no insider access, can buy repossessed trucks at significant discounts below retail. Most people have heard of none of them, and the industry's silence around these platforms is not accidental. Every vehicle sold through one of these 4 channels is a vehicle that never generates a dealer commission, a finance office fee, or a service department upsell. For a $35,000 truck, that silence is worth between $4,000 and $8,000 per transaction to the institutions that benefit from you not knowing. The first source is direct from credit unions. Credit unions across the country regularly sell repossessed vehicles directly to the public through their websites or through a partner platform called CU Auctions. Credit unions are member-owned nonprofit institutions, which means they have even less interest in sitting on vehicle inventory than banks do. They want the asset off the books and the debt resolved. Many credit union repo listings appear with asking prices already set at 20% to 40% below Kelley Blue Book private party value, with clean titles and maintenance records attached. The website repofinder.com aggregates these listings and connects buyers directly to the lending institutions, with no middleman fee and no dealer markup in the chain. The second source is Copart's Bank Repo Auction Channel. Copart is best known as a salvage vehicle auction platform, but they operate a separate bank repo category that lists clean title repossessed vehicles available to registered members. Membership costs around $200 per year and requires no dealer license. Trucks regularly appear in this category at 30% to 55% below retail book value. The third source is SCA Auction, which operates similarly with free public registration and a dedicated repossession inventory category. The fourth source is the GSA Fleet Auction at autoauctions.gsa.gov, which sells repossessed and surplus federal government vehicles, including pickup trucks, to the general public. GSA vehicles are particularly notable because they are maintained on manufacturer-specified service schedules, making condition more predictable than a bank repo from an unknown borrower. Independent research tracking GSA auction results has found savings of 40% to 60% below equivalent retail prices on trucks. These four channels collectively list thousands of trucks per week. None of them require you to walk into a dealership. Before you bid a single dollar on any vehicle, build a vehicle file on it. This is not optional. This step separates buyers who come home with a truck worth twice what they paid from buyers who discover the frame is bent after the paperwork is signed. The first thing you pull is the Vehicle Identification Number, the VN, which should be listed in every legitimate auction or repo listing. Run it through the National Insurance Crime Bureau database at nicb.org, which is free and checks for theft records. Then run it through a vehicle history service, either Carfax or AutoCheck. These reports show title history, accident reports, odometer readings across ownership, lien records, and any flood or fire damage designations. They cost between $20 and $40 per report, and they are the cheapest insurance you will ever buy before making a $15,000 to $20,000 decision. Next, pull the current market value using Kelley Blue Book, Edmunds, and NADA. Look at private party value specifically, not dealer retail, because private party value is the fair market number that reflects what a knowledgeable buyer pays in a direct transaction. That is the number your auction bid should be anchored to, not the sticker on the lot down the street. Calculate your all-in cost before you bid. Auction buyers' premiums typically range from 5% to 15% of the winning bid and are added on top at the close. Some platforms charge documentation fees, title transfer fees, and transaction fees separately. A truck you win at $18,000 with a 10% buyer's premium and a $500 title fee costs you $20,300 before you drive it home. Know that number before you raise your paddle. For any truck over $10,000, identify a licensed mobile mechanic in the area of the auction who can do a pre-purchase inspection for between $100 and $200. That inspection will flag transmission issues, engine codes, and hidden body damage that photos in the listing will never reveal. You have done your research. You know the vehicle's history. You have had a mechanic look at it, or you are confident enough in the condition report to proceed. Now comes the part that costs inexperienced buyers thousands of dollars every single week at these auctions. Emotion. The biggest mistake buyers make at repo auctions is bidding against their own research. You walked in with a number, a maximum number based on market value, condition, and total cost of ownership. That number is the only number that matters. When the bidding climbs toward your ceiling and someone beside you raises their paddle, the temptation is overwhelming. You have done the research. You have driven to the lot. You have invested your morning and your attention and your hope in this particular truck. Letting it go for $500 more than your maximum feels like losing. It is not losing. Exceeding your maximum number is the only way to actually lose at a repo auction. Dealers bidding beside you have floor plans and credit lines and used car lots to fill. They have completely different economics than you do. They can pay $24,000 for a truck they sell at $32,000. That is their business model. It is not a competition you should be in, and treating it like one is the mistake that sends buyers home, having paid retail prices at an auction that was supposed to save them money. Set your maximum bid on paper before the auction begins. Write the number down. Show it to the person you came with. Make it real and fixed before the energy of the room has a chance to inflate it. Do not change it when the room gets loud. Walk away clean if it goes over, because there is always another truck. Online platforms like Copart and SCA update their repo listings continuously, and new trucks arrive on these lots every single week. There is no last truck. There is no emergency. And in a market where 1.73 million vehicles were repossessed in a single year, the supply of trucks flowing through these channels is not thinning out anytime soon. If that strategy just shifted how you think about your next vehicle purchase, every subscriber here is automatically entered in our monthly giveaway for a branded channel hoodie. Details are in the description. You have won your bid. The gavel has come down. You are the buyer. Now comes the part of the repo auction process that nobody explains clearly, and that creates more headaches than the buying itself. The title. When a vehicle is repossessed, the lender takes legal ownership from the borrower through a process that varies by state. In some states, the lender receives the title automatically upon repossession. In others, the lender must wait for a specific legal period and follow a precise notification process before a clean title can be issued. The critical question to ask before you bid on any repossessed vehicle is this: does the seller have the title in hand right now? If the answer is no, you need to know specifically when they will have it and what that process looks like. Some auction platforms will list vehicles as title pending, meaning the lender has not yet completed the legal paperwork to obtain a clean title from the state. Buying a vehicle with title pending is not automatically disqualifying, but it requires you to understand the timeline and the risk. The second thing to verify is the title type. A clean title means the vehicle has never been declared a total loss by an insurance company. A salvage title means it has been totaled at some point in its history, regardless of how clean the paint looks or how well the engine runs now. A rebuilt title means it was totaled and subsequently repaired and inspected to meet state certification standards for road use. Repo vehicles can carry any of these title types, and it is not uncommon for a vehicle to be listed at auction in clean condition with a salvage title buried in its history that the photos will never reveal. Bank repos typically carry clean titles because banks generally do not finance total loss vehicles. However, always verify through the vehicle history report, because title washing, the practice of retitling a salvage vehicle through a different state to obscure its history, is more common than most buyers realize. Finally, confirm there are no remaining liens on the vehicle before you complete the purchase. The lender selling the vehicle should be clearing their lien as part of the transaction. Get that confirmation in writing before you hand over a check. The moment you have been working toward. The actual numbers. A 2022 Ford F-150 XLT Super Crew with the 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine and 38,000 miles carries a Kelley Blue Book private party value of approximately $34,000 to $37,000. That same truck at a dealer, certified pre-owned with a warranty, retails between $38,000 and $42,000. At a credit union repo sale, a clean title, 2022 F-150 XLT, in comparable condition with 38,000 miles, typically opens at auction with a starting bid in the $22,000 to $26,000 range and frequently closes between $24,000 and $29,000, depending on the market and the number of bidders in the room. Add a 10% buyer's premium and a $400 title and documentation fee, and your all-in cost on a $37,000 truck lands around $27,000 to $32,000. That is a savings of $6,000 to $15,000 on the exact same vehicle, with no dealer commission, no finance office markup, and no extended warranty pitch from a man in a tie. Now apply that math to higher trim levels. A 2022 F-150 Lariat with the 501A package and full technology trim sits at $48,000 to $54,000 in dealer retail. The same truck, repossessed and sold through a bank auction, regularly closes between $30,000 and $36,000. A 2021 Ram 1500 Limited, which carries a retail sticker north of $65,000. When new, is appearing at repo auctions right now with clean titles and under 40,000 miles at closing prices between $34,000 and $41,000. That is the $65,000 truck under $20,000 claim made real. And at the top of this video, it seemed impossible. The discounts are not uniform, and they are not guaranteed. They depend on condition, title type, market conditions, the platform, and the number of informed bidders in the room. But the gap between dealer retail and repo auction reality is not a myth. It is a documented, repeatable, structural feature of how lenders liquidate distressed assets. And right now, with 1.73 million vehicles hitting these lots in a single year, the supply is at its most abundant in 15 years. You are back at that dealership now, the one from the beginning of this story. The salesperson is walking you toward the Lariat on the lot, the one with the chrome package and the backup camera and the sticker that says $64,995. The monthly payment sheet they are about to hand you will show $887 per month for 84 months, which means you will pay $74,508 for a truck originally priced at $64,995 before a single dollar of maintenance or insurance. They will not mention the repo lot 30 minutes from where you are sitting. They will not mention that a 2022 version of this same truck, with the same engine and the same trim and 35,000 miles on the clock, is available right now at a credit union auction that closes on Friday. They will not mention that you could register on repofinder.com tonight, pull the VIN on 3 trucks by tomorrow morning, have a mobile mechanic look at the strongest candidate Thursday afternoon, bid Friday, and drive home in that truck for $28,000 all in. That is not an accident. That is institutional silence built into an industry that depends on you not knowing what you just learned. The repo lot. GOLDMINE has always been there. The banks created it every time someone missed a payment. The credit unions stocked it every time a loan went 90 days past due. The auctions ran it every week, whether you showed up or not. In 2024, 1.73 million vehicles passed through this system. In 2025, projections put that number at 3 million. The lots have never been fuller. The sellers have never been more motivated. And now, for the first time, you know exactly where the door is and exactly how to walk through it. If this video is going to change how you buy your next vehicle, share it with someone who is sitting on a dealership payment right now that does not have to be that high. Every share is one more person who knows the system exists. The repo lot was always open, you just did not have the address.